Unlike traditional villains who are purely malicious, Omni-Man operates under a strict ideological framework that justifies his actions. But does this make him evil, or is he just a product of his upbringing and conditioning? I've personally had this conversation with my friends about nature versus nurture, and the concept is really interesting. But I can never seem to come to a definite answer, because if a person is nurtured to be a specific way, doesn't that become their nature? In the case of Omni-Man, growing up in a Viltrumite empire 100% influenced his ideologies and way of thinking. From a very young age, Nolan was led to believe that the strong should rule the weak. And to be fair, it isn't a bad idea. When you look at our governmental system, it isn't that far off, because we only elect the smartest and the most powerful to lead. So in some sense, it's the same, but less extreme. If anything, Omni-Man was just really dedicated to the Viltrumite ideology. Being indoctrinated that this is the proper way of life, Omni-Man never had the opportunity to see things from a different perspective. So considering how his mind was molded to believe that what he was doing was the only true way, then the things he had to do was just a sacrifice or a building block for the greater good. And it never seemed like Nolan enjoyed killing. When he massacred the Guardians of the Globe, or when he almost beat the life out of Mark, there was a little bit of regret, or at least some consideration. After he killed the Guardians, he was sat there for a minute. Maybe he was tired, and he literally broke down in tears and left without killing Mark and finishing the mission. So that goes without saying that Nolan really isn't evil. He's brutal and terrifying, yes, but his lack of sight from a different perspective made him seem evil, but his intentions were pure. There was also this experiment done by Stanley Milgram, and he found that people will listen and follow to orders from authority figures even if it's morally questionable or conflicts their own personal conscience. And that might be because they might remove themselves from the equation and solely see themselves as an extension of the authority figure, so their actions are justified because they don't see it as their personal actions. So this could have been the case with Nolan, but his love for Mark changed his perspective and made him second guess his action. But I don't think Nolan is a villain. Mans was just really dedicated.